Yep, so good morning everyone. My name is Greg Sholdt. I'm based at Kobe University Graduate School of Maritime Sciences. I am the chair of the JALT Research Grants Committee, and much of my kind of non-teaching professional work has been to kind of help language teachers develop skills and knowledge in classroom-based research, particularly quantitative research methods. Okay, so all right. I'll go ahead and, okay, all right, so we'll go ahead and get started. So in this presentation, I'm going to introduce the JALT Research Grants program. Julie's going to quickly run through some of the other grants that are available through JALT chapters and SIGs, and then we'll work through some application tips and considerations, and then hopefully we'll have some time if there are some questions or comments about what we've covered. Okay, so JALT awards up to 3 grants for a maximum of 100,000 yen every year. It depends on the number of applications, or let's say the quality of the applications. So there's a kind of a bar, and if we get enough grants that are higher that proposal that are higher that level, we'll award them. But sometimes it's been 2. Usually we have no troubles with 3. They are available to JALT members only, and the key restriction is that they are only for JALT members who have no external funding. So if you have some sort of research budget, some kenkyuhi, then you are not eligible. This does cut down on a lot of our members who are available, but we are really trying to reach out to part-time teachers, teachers working at schools, those who are trying to build their resume, move into full-time jobs, and so that's really the target audience. So please don't tune out if you're already immediately thinking this is not for me. Please think about your colleagues, part-time teachers that you know, and you get a sense that they are fighting to move ahead. Please let them know about this availability. So please, hopefully you can internalize this. You have to be a working teacher. This is not for full-time graduate students. This is for teachers who are doing classroom-based research. You can have multiple researchers on your project, but really it goes through one person. One person is going to receive the grant and will be in charge of the funds. But it's possible to have 1 or 2 more co-researchers underneath you. We are very open to different kinds of topics, but they must be relevant to the teaching context in Japan. And then so something that would be of interest to JALT language teaching or learning. Your project will run 1 year. You'll receive the grants in the winter before the academic year starts. You have 1 year to complete your project, collect all your data, and then some more time to analyze it. I'll go through the schedule. You have to submit quarterly reports. Just as an update, it's very short, not a lot of work, and receipts so that we can monitor your progress and make sure everything is available. You will receive an unvetted presentation at JALT National Conference, and if you aren't able to attend that, we'll help you to try to find something more local. But that's kind of a final expectation that you are going to share the results of your research at the end of the project. All right, so this is the schedule. Did I skip that? Yeah. Okay, all right. So for the application, you need to, it's a very short application. Probably that's the most hardest part, is that you have to be very succinct in what you are writing. A 500-word proposal describing the objectives and how you plan to do it. Present some kind of theoretical foundation and your research questions. So just a very quick, short summary. Then you need to provide a brief schedule, give us an idea of what you are going to do throughout the year, and then a project budget. What is required to purchase, how much it's going to cost. Again, this is all estimates. We understand that it's difficult to be very precise, but we're looking to get a good sense of what you're going to do. The limit is 100,000 yen, but it can be less if you have a smaller scale project in mind. Finally, you have to identify some additional challenges, what could possibly go wrong, and those are, it's expected you to have a sense because something can always go wrong and usually does. All right. So here's the application period. So we'll open up in the summer through early fall. We'll start receiving applications. You can get them online. And then we'll make the announcement of the winners at the National JALT Conference. The funds will be dispersed to your account in December. And then from the next April, you will start your research project. You'll have 1 year with the 4 quarterly reports, well, 1 final report, and then the JALT presentation after that's all done. So it's really kind of far in the future, but if you are able to plan ahead and you have a stable enough situation, this can be a good opportunity. All right, and then the JALT website. If you just go to the JALT website, you'll find research grants. There are a few different sites where you can get FAQ with lots of tips and ideas. You can download the application, and you'll see some lists of winners and other projects that they have run before. All right, so I will leave it to Julie to take over the next step.
Thank you, Greg. You're a hard act to follow. My name is Julie Kimura. I'm at the Mukogawa Women's University in the School of Pharmacy, and I am proud to say that Gretchen and I are lucky, well-deserving recipients of the JALT Research Grant. And let me warn you that you may be a victim of your own success. You might get the grant and then walk into a 10-year track position the next year and get funding. So somebody I know who got the grant after me, we ran this by Greg. Is this okay? So please give him the heads up and let him know this is happening. So when I applied for this, there were 3, we met in your talk at the JALT International Conference. 3 of us women, all from Kobe area of all places, and we got to know each other and we worked together, and 2 of us submitted our applications and were successful recipients, and the rest is history. So everybody, I really encourage you to apply. But how many of you think you may be eligible to apply for the JALT Research Grant? Okay. How many of you think you might know someone who may be eligible? Thank you. Please invite your colleagues, because my point here is that JALT membership has privileges. And as the Director of Membership, I'd like to go on about what value JALT membership brings for you. Of course, don't ask what JALT can do for you, ask what you can do for JALT. But think carefully, or consider carefully if you want to apply for this. But the thing is that Greg's is not the only money lying around. A lot of SIGs and some chapters also offers similar grants. But like the JALT Research Grant, there's no such thing as a free lunch. You also have to write a report at the very least, or some people, they also want a headshot or something like that. So it's not something for nothing. This information may or may not be up to date. College and university educators, QSIG, I'm a member, and yes, we offer research grants, conference grants, and even books. For example, even in the, depending on your chapter or SIG, if you want to write a book review, they'll send you a free book, and in exchange you have to write a book review. So that's not monetary, but for conducting research, or even for attending a conference and doing a conference review, they can help. Learner development, I have a typo, my goodness. Learner development offers a conference grant. Teacher development SIG also offers a conference grant. And vocab, this is special. It offers a research grant, but it's given preferentially to people with no external funding. 1 year I applied and I let them know that yes, I do get a research budget, but I hope they'd consider me if they still have some money lying around. And I didn't get it, but I'm fine. And even applying for the grant, that's a line on your resume. So when you get the grant, you have the grant on your resume. You have to write a paper that's on your resume. You can publish at JALT International. That's another line on your resume. So 3 for the price of 1. So these are from the SIGs. And also, again, this may or may not be up to date. Niigata offers a research grant. Tokyo, I'm pretty sure they offer a research grant. So when we join JALT, you join your chapter and a SIG. Think carefully about which ones you want to join. With chapters, it can be where you live, it can be where you work, and you can switch around willy-nilly because we move house or we change jobs. Yes, Thomas?
Yes, I just wanted to mention for Kyoto chapter, we do have a conference grant. And I believe other chapters use, but this is something that we have. We will be announcing it later on in the spring, where we provide unvetted slot, and then last year it was
a sum of money to go towards your conference experience.
and some of you go to your conference experience colleges. You can't be more specific about that.
Great, great, great. And is this open to the unvetted slot? Is that for first-time presenters?
Yes.
Great.
It's for first-time presenters at the national conference.
Great, 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 great.
One question for me though, are all of these grants available, even Greg, to any educator, any context, like Kaiwa, secondary, university, anything?
Yes, context is not a problem, and we encourage more people. It's often the college and university educators, but we're good. Our jobs are fine, but if people are working in Kaiwa and want to get out, or love what they're doing and just want to research, ALTs too, there's a lot of great opportunities. So, yes, Amanda?
So I just want to announce that BrainSig from last year started offering conference, and we actually gave conference funding for people who have a proposal accepted and are presenting on mind-brain education, and also people who are on our forum and don't have funding. Yeah.
Thank you.
That's your list.
Amanda has let us know that Mind Brain SIG is also offering a conference grant, and even for people who are joining the forum at the JALT International. Is that correct?
And presenting, they're not on the forum, but they're presenting on mind-brain education. They've had their proposal accepted, but they need help getting to the conference and for accommodation. We can't pay the fees, obviously.
Okay.
It's against JALT rules.
All right. So, Mind Brain SIG members who have been accepted and need help getting to the conference to present also will get some support. We should update the website listing who offers what.
This was introduced at our AGM last year.
Oh, great. Okay, how timely. So the point I wanted to make was that you can change your chapter willy-nilly when you move house or change jobs. Your SIG, you're locked in for 1 year. So I'm not saying choose according to who offers the biggest grants, but if that's a factor, you laugh. But if that's a factor, then consider these carefully. And there's one more source of JALT grants is for the PanSig conference coming up in, is it May?
May 16, 17.
In Chiba Prefecture. So if you like baseball, if you like peanuts, please come. I'll be there. So they're offering a conference grant, a research grant, and also a student grant. Of course, some restrictions apply. Does anybody have any questions or comments about these? Yes, Amanda?
I'll just say, because I'm on the PanSig committee, this year 2 applicants for the research grant. One of them was rejected because that person is not a JALT member and is actually living in Japan.
Okay.
Be researching in another country. So, but the other one we are taking on, and I'll be mentoring that, or I am mentoring that person.
Oh, thanks a lot. So,
PanSig, you get a lot of support. If you don't have much experience in research, you are assigned a mentor who will help you through the process
okay.
and keep track.
How many grants are you offering for the
So
research?
It changes a bit from year to year depending on the conference chairs and organisers. This year we decided to offer
Okay.
And then however many people apply,
Ah,
yes, so we will share that pot up to a certain
okay. So,
amount. And so it's the same mechanism.
okay. So,
You have a very high chance of getting a grant for PANSIG.
okay.
And the same prerequisites, you have to present your results at the next PANSIG conference and write them up in the proceeding.
Great.
So it's really a good push to get you a presentation plus a publication.
Oh, great, great, great. And a grant is a line on the resume, right? Okay. So to recapitulate for the people participating online, PANSIG offers something similar to the JALT Research Grant. It's a pot of money divided amongst the number of viable applicants, and they will be mentored and then have a slot in next year's PANSIG. That's the upshot of it. That's all for me for now, but
JALT grant also offers mentoring?
Not exactly like that. We are around to advise, but there's not like an active, intensive mentoring program. But we field questions and help out where it's needed.
yes, for those of you viewing online, JALT research grants offer less support, but or mentoring, shall we say, but are always available to answer questions and to help. That is all for me.
Okay, got it, yep. All right. This last section here, some tips and considerations when preparing an application for research grants. This probably applies across the board. It's primarily focused on the JALT research grants, but I think most of these are applicable for a variety of JALT grants and even the Kaken or bigger other programs. So first off, and this was brought up before, that language teaching in Japan, and that is a big area. So yeah, high school, eikaiwa, it's a very, very broad topic, and if you can connect what you are interested to doing to language teaching in Japan and demonstrate why you need a budget to run this program or run your project, then you can get accepted. And if we immediately see that this is not going to be applicable, at least we'll reply to the person who sent in the proposal and let them know. We try to carve out some new territory, but this does also include replication. If you've seen a study that was conducted elsewhere and you're going to conduct it in your local environment, that counts. That's new territory. So replication studies are great. And certainly I hold back my own personal biases for quantitative research. It's difficult to do, but I do absolutely do it, and we don't care. As long as there is some kind of methodology. Action research, totally fine. Qualitative, quantitative, mixed methods. As long as there's some underlying approach that you are implementing, then it is totally acceptable. So please don't feel like mine might not work. Put together, if it's a good research project, that's what's most important.
Question.
Yes?
Is there an ethics review before the grant is given?
No. The ethics, so that is on your side. If you are going to implement a study in a particular institution, then it's up to you to handle that. We are not capable of sort of making that judgment for some sort of ethics review. And I'll hit on that in a little bit more too. So when you're writing your proposal, this is an expression that I learned in my quantitative research class when I was a grad student, writing essays for math tests. Brevity consistent with clarity. All right? We're not, you only have 500 words, so you're forced into it, but you do need to cover from the beginning to the end as much as possible. So just get down to the brass tacks, include what is essential. Make sure you cover all of the spots. If the application asks you to list A, B, and C, then make sure you include all of those parts. And think, oh, I'm not so good on C, you need to put it there. We need to see it. If you aren't answering that question, that is definitely going to handicap your proposal. Set reasonable goals. You are not changing the field of language education with your small 100,000 yen budget. We expect small scale projects. That's really what's only reasonable. So if you have this grand scheme, it's highly likely that you might look and say, well, this really is not doable. It's just not a feasible project with this budget or within what this person is capable of doing, and it will be rejected for that reason. So small projects are okay as long as they are good projects, but be reasonable about the goals that you set. Theoretical foundation, demonstrate that you are pulling out ideas from out in the literature, that you are building on what's already out there. Demonstrate that you have some sense. We're not looking, there's no space for a full lit review, but some show some evidence that you are aware of what is being done out in the field and represent that somewhat in your proposal. I mentioned this before, some sort of established methodology. So we see that you are following a protocol to collect your data. And then finally, if you can build on something that you have done before. So we occasionally get applications where the person's very honest. Well, I don't really know anything about extensive reading. This is going to be my first stab at it. Probably you are not going to get funds for that. There are things you can do without money. Should be an area that you are interested in or working in, and you are using that experience to put together a proposal. The schedule is brief, but it should be clear that you are covering all the important steps. The grant reviewers have done research. They understand what research is. They know what the important steps are. It's impossible to get a full detailed step-by-step, but we expect to see the big pieces are there. All right? If you don't know what those big pieces are, you are not prepared to run the study. Yes?
Question then, because for novice researchers, that can be quite daunting.
Yep.
This is kind of related to the JALT grants you mentioned on your first slide.
Yes.
That researchers with external or institutional funding are disqualified. Does that also pertain to co-research as well?
No. The co-researchers, it's all right if they have some budget. The main researcher can be a gray area. So we probably have to look at it on a case by case. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, and so you're asking is what I've just described maybe off-putting to people who are just studying research, and I don't mean to do that, but it is. This is not, I've never done research before, so I want to get some money for it. You have to have some sense of what you are doing. You are going to compete with other people. So for those people that there are things you can do without any money at all. You can collect data from your classroom. That is a great place to start. And so that is probably before you are applying for a grant. Do something in your own classroom, do something small scale, collect some data, analyze it, and then use that to build on to a larger project where you need money. That's probably my biggest recommendation. Just to make sure I'm at the end. So the budget, I'll get this done in 1 minute. Only what's necessary for the research. I need the latest, highest end iPad, and that's it. That's not going to work. So pay attention to what the restrictions are, and this is not an opportunity to buy some tech toy that you've always wanted and then do a study that really doesn't require any money. Address your challenges head on. Recognize where you will likely run into problems. People that have done research a lot will probably see it looking at your proposal. Don't hide from it. Try to come up with a backup plan. Know that you have limitations of what you can do in the classroom. Be aware of your institutional restrictions. It could be the case that there are ethics requirements that you have to follow as a researcher collecting data in your classroom, you need to figure that out ahead of time. It could be that they require you to run your budget through their research or their grant office. We've had that come up very recently. So you need to be aware of what the restrictions are of running research in your own institution. Okay? And my final little recommendation here is try small-scale pilot study. Do something really small first in your classroom. Use that to guide your design, and then talk about that pilot. That will go a long way to showing that you are ready to receive funding and run a proper project. Okay, so I think we are out of time for questions. 4 minutes. Okay, great. Anything else? Yes.
One question that came up, so I had said I'm not eligible myself to apply for it, but then I realized my institution and presumably other institutions, especially public universities, are cutting budgets for, even for tenured professors. So when you say you have no funding, does that mean you have zero funding? Or would it be possible to apply if I say, I have this much money, I cannot do the research I want to do because I do not have enough to pay for it
Okay.
in my current budget? I can tell you, I have this much money, I'm spending it this way.
Yes.
If you want me to stay a member of JALT
Yes.
and to do all these other things I need to do, I can't pay for this, so could I apply for this
Okay.
amount of money?
All right, so question is, a lot of us are getting a little bit of a crunch when it comes to funding. My funding has been cut quite a bit to push our professors to get Kaken. I know I've lost a lot of funding. I need a bit more in order to do my research. Am I eligible for the JALT Research Grants? No, you are not. Okay. No funding. That's the hard rule for these grants. We talk about it, but no. Other grants, it may be possible through the SIGs or the chapters, so you can check with them. Yes?
There's one question from the YouTube Live from Redwood English School. Can't the funds be used for conference travel, etc., to present on the research? That is probably the biggest financial challenge for many researchers without any funding. For the JALT Research Grants, there are restrictions about how you use the funding. The funding for our grants are exclusively to do the research, not present about the research. You will be able to get a conference fee waiver from JALT to present at the national conference, but beyond that, it is on the person to get there and take care of the accommodations. It's unfortunate, but with that would take up almost all of the budget. It's only 100,000 yen, so it is primarily focused only on running the research. But again, check all the different ones, look at the restrictions and the requirements.
Please apply for a conference grant instead.
Oh, yeah, maybe that's another one. So, all right, I think we are out of time. Thank you very much. We'll step aside, and I suspect if there are more questions, the panel members will be able to discuss this as well. So, thank you very much.